Hey everyone, welcome back to Weld.com. Thanks for tuning into our channel. Today we're going to be working out of a code book. But instead of showing you guys step-by-step work, we're going to throw a little twist in it. Make you guys enjoy this, make sure you guys are not sitting down, falling asleep on this. We're going to be working out a D11, but we're going to throw a little man versus machine. I'm playing the John Henry part. Hopefully I win at the end. So today what we're going to be getting into is a single groove butt weld, 3/8 plate, carbon steel, 45-degree angle. I'm going to bevel that with a Mancub, hand bevel that. Then we're going to switch it over to welding, running a select arc 730 wire on an ESAB 285 Rebel. We're going to weld that up. Then we're going to flip that over and we're going to back gouge that. Basically, I'm going to be doing the manual part. We're going to back gouge 3 feet of it by hand, using about 1/2-inch carbons or 3/8 carbons. Then the other half of the plate, 3/8 plate, is going to be done by automation system, running about 1/2-inch jointed carbons, and we're going to compare the differences. This whole procedure is basically done by overlay plates on decking on an aircraft carrier, or when you're building a structure, laying out the floor for it. So let's go ahead and get into it, and we're going to bevel. The first step is we're going to bevel the plate. We're going to be beveling to 45 degrees. I'm going to be using this Mancub. I'm going to be basically taking off layers. I don't want to basically just take all of it off at once. This machine will do it, but we don't want to dull our bits out and ruin the equipment. So we're just going to take off 3 or 4 layers, and we'll have a nicer finish when we're done. All right, we did this in 3 passes. We're aiming for 45 degrees, +10 or -0 in the code book. So let's go ahead and check this out. I want to make sure this is all even, good. So that's actually pretty impressive. We're straight on 45. You can see that right there. 90 minus 45 is 45 degrees. We're spot on. So the next step is we're going to take a grinding wheel, Tiger Zerk, and we're just going to get the mill scale about 1 inch back on the front side and back side, and also on the other plate. So next step is we laid our plates out. I lay them upside down, and I'll be looking at the back side of the root. When I'm looking at it, I bring them together, the plates, and put little spacers, and I just look down, see what I got to work with here. Then I pick the side that's kind of worse. Then I start from that worst side and just work my way down. And when you're tacking this up, use strong backs. Strong backs will help keep the plate from bowing and also keep the plate from shifting on you. All right? Clean up your tacks. Get all the BBs off. Get all the smoke off. Get all the spatter off. So after you get that all cleaned out, that's on the back side. I flip it over and do the same thing on the front side. Right here, I take my depth gauge and make sure I'm not over an 1/8 inch. Depends what code you're doing and what the requirements are with that company. Then I just go ahead and check this. All right. I know these are inspection tools, but you're learning and saving the company time, and you're speeding the process up. You don't have to call them over 3 or 4 times. All right. And you just go ahead and check it up. I mean, you get these on Amazon, eBay, or wherever. I mean, invest into some tools. Tools make you money and save you time. So I go ahead and do all that, make sure everything's consistent. If it's past 1/8 inch, break it away before you call the inspector over and get it done. Always keep your tacks inside the joint or right where it's going to be grinded away. Never go way out here on the side. They don't like that at all. They hate that. All right, and that's it. Then I call the inspector over here. Hey, inspector, I'm ready for you. Come on. Hey. Is that smoke I see over there? Are you joking? Better get that cleaned up. Is he joking? Let's go ahead and get into this, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and weld this out. I'm using, again, Select Arc 730. It's a flux core wire. The size is 045. I'm using 75/25 as my gas. And I'm using about 40 CFH. I like 40 CFH because I think it's gonna cover the most. And that's what the manufacturer recommends on the wire. All right, it's not a real huge deal if you blow through. The reason it's not a real big deal is because we're going to back gouge it. You're going to have clean, good metal because your fill passes are going to be clean. As long as you wire brush them out good, you're going to have good, clean metal, and you're just going to back gouge. If it's 1/4 inch, it might be more than 1/4 inch, but you want to do it where it's clean silver metal. That's what I look for. If there's any little black spots, I make sure I get them out. Always on your sides of your toes, any flux. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm doing that, and all I'm doing is doing a little weave. Basically, the puddle's going to tell me what to do. And since this plate's got a little thicker right here on this left side, the square plate, I'm going to put my nozzle, make sure I'm penetrating into it. I want that nozzle, I want that puddle over there melting that thick metal, because it's going to take more power or more amps to melt that puddle. I mean, melt that joint there. Only reason I don't favor the right side because it's already beveled, it's thin. So it's gonna heat up quicker. So you're gonna be okay. All right, then I just go ahead and run it, and that's about it. So that's your joint. All right, check this guys out right here. So right here, see how big that gap is? I messed up. I should have put a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch tack in there so it wouldn't bow open. Because the reason it bowed open because I was putting so much heat on and just pulling through, and it just expanded. Don't freak out. You still got this test. You can still pass this test. So you gotta feather this edge out, and we're going to kind of pulse that. Keep pulsing it. The reason you can get away with it is because the back gouging. That's what's going to save your butt, is back gouging to clean sound metal. Because them fill passes are going to be clean. So yeah, let's go ahead and fix this. I'm meeting my side of my plate away inside the bevel, but look, I'm weaving it. It's working. And towards the end, look at that. My gap's already closed up because it's tighter down this end, last 4 inches. Look at that. Luck was on my side on this weld, right there. You gotta do this sometimes. You gotta know how to fix your mess up. All right, first things first, let's talk about our root. Our root went in good, everything was good until the end. No big deal. We showed you how to fix it, moved on. All right, let's talk about our fill pass. I put 1 fill pass with 2 beads. Everything went in good. We stood nice, consistent, didn't weave any. Made sure I didn't go above my plate and got out of the bevel and ate that top of that plate away. You don't want to do that. We did that one, and everything went in good. Then we did the next one. Everything, same thing. We went in good. We stood below the base plate, about a 1/16. If you stay between a 1/16 or a little bit less, you'll be all right. Don't overfill and don't underfill. Then we got to our cap. Everything went in smooth. We kept our line, our edge of our bevel. If you keep the edge of your bevel straight, or you didn't eat away and it's nice and straight, you're gonna have a straight weld because you're gonna follow that. Then the next, I grind a groove on the side. So the weld could lay in there for a little bit flatter, won't be so convex, humped up. And it's always good to get in a habit of grinding your toes real quickly too. It gets rid of any lack of fusion or any indication that you have like a little worry about. And everything else went good. Then we wire wheeled the heck out of it, got our BBs off, and we got our smoke off, Inspector. And right now we're going to check our VWAC before we call the inspector over here. The reason we're checking with the VWAC is make sure the cap's not too high, because the code's calling by 1/8 inch and no porosity or underfill. But just by looking on here, I think we're all right. But come in and look, let's take a look at this. All right, on the VWAC gauge, you always want to make sure you're starting down like this. All right, then you bring it into it, and you want to start on the highest, look for the highest part. You bring that in, and you check, it looks good, everything's no gap under here, so you look at it. So, all right, it looks like we got 3/64. Always check more than a couple spots. Take your time, be patient with it. Being patient is a key to a good weld. All right, the inspector says we're good to go, we passed, so we're gonna flip it over, cut these strong backs off, and back out just clean sound metal, all right? It's gonna be man versus machine. Drop a comment down below who you think's gonna win, the machine or me. Big Papa Pump here. All right, let's get to the good part. So let me talk about manual arc gouging a little bit. So you always want to handle this with the rod out all the time, because the machine could be on all the time, and you leave this on here, because you could arc. So always make sure this is out and the machine's off. So this is the arc gouging handle, air on, off. This is power on, just like a stick electrode all the time. So what really helps you is, instead of putting your fingers in here and getting a pinch and having a hard time with your gloves, I usually just take the stick. This part goes towards the base metal. I stick it in here, just like that. Then see how this just rotates really easy, nice and simple. You don't have to be fighting it. Now go about 4 to 6 inches stick out from the base plate right here to your head of your handle. Do a little dry run and just dry run it all the way like that. So I'm all right. All right, you wanna have at least 80 PSI, depends what size electrode you're running. We're running a constant current machine. We're running about 450 amps. and we're just running compressed air, just out of your normal air compressor, nothing special. Overall, what I'm going to do is 3 feet manual, and the machine's going to do 3 feet. Then we're at the end, we're going to compare the results, see who wins and see who loses. My goal when I'm doing this is basically aim for a 1/4 inch depth and try to keep it nice and consistent all the way down. So I just got done doing mine. I'm kind of pretty happy with the results, but right now we're gonna head over to the other machine, set it up, and we're gonna run the other 3 foot with the machine. Hopefully I win John Henry right at the end, hopefully. So let's go ahead and do it. All right, here's a little overview of this machine. It's very simple. So all you gotta do is get your jointed carbons. These are 3/8 jointed. All you gotta do is press this right here and just slide them in. That's all you gotta do. Nice and simple. We got our travel speed set to 47 inches per minute. So it's going to just travel down at 47 inches per minute. Then we got our primary guide right here. We got it set to about 550 amps, and our depths, you can set your depth with this. That's pretty cool. And also I recommend your travel speed. So our depth is 1/4 inch. So it's going to hit that accurate spot within 10 thousandths. So yeah, let's go ahead and hit the button and have some fun. All right, everyone, we just got done doing the automation. You can tell right here is the automation side, and this is the manual side. We're going to scrape the dross a little bit on each weld or each gouging, a little bit right here and a little bit over there. Then we're going to measure with a VWAC and see who's closest to a 1/4 inch, who's going to win. And then we're going to look down at for straightness. All right, so let's go ahead and inspect this gouging. So let's talk about mine first. I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, it's manual. What can you expect? You're gonna be a little wobbly. So let's talk about the depth. Let's check right here and check in some random spots. Let's get like an overall measurement. When you're doing this, you wanna make sure there's no gap right here. And you come down nice and easy. There's no gap, all right? Then we come over here and look at it. I'm a little bit over 1/4 inch from off the scale. The scale goes by 16ths. Here's the depth side, and here's the convex side on this side. All right, let's move down a little bit. Check right here, it's probably 3/16. Come over here, a little bit over 3/16. We'll check this deep part. So we're way over, that's probably 5/16. Just judging the spaces in between these ones, you can tell that's probably 5/16 deep. We'll pick one more spot. We'll pick this spot. Give me the benefit of doubt. Okay, yeah, that's like half inch. Clearly I need more practice, but let's go ahead and look at the machine and see how it did. All right, first you could tell just by looking at this bad boy, it's nice and straight. I mean, this machine's doing its job. It's running nice and straight all the way down. Second thing I noticed big time is the depth is consistent. I mean, I could tell already it's like 1/4 inch just by looking at it. Let's go measure some spots. I mean, I got some hiccups, but that's my fault because the cord was hanging up on the machine. But as soon as the cord got unhooked or unhang, it was doing its job again. So let's pick out the good spots right here. So there's no gap right here. So we're doing the job right, holding the VWAC, and we're exactly at 1/4 inch. So let's check right here in the spots that hung up. So I'm gonna look for the shallowest one right here. So this looks like the shallowest spot. All right, so it's 3/16 where it hung up. That's still not bad at all. That's pretty still good where it hung up. You clean that up with a grinder and level it out, and so your weld won't be so humped up right here. You know, I mean, you got a grinder, that's what it's for, is fix mistakes. All right, so in this episode, obviously John Henry didn't win. Hopefully he will win some other day, hopefully. But obviously the machine performed really good. Them little hiccups you've seen, that I thought it was a power cord, and all the power cords getting hung up on the back of the machine, but it wasn't. When I was taking this machine apart to clean up, the dens over there on the machine wasn't twisted in good. It was loose. As soon as I touched it, it like fell out off the female dens connector. So I should have took my time and fixed that and twisted it a little bit tighter, but hey, accidents happen. But overall, the machine ran great. Everything's good. I hope you guys found this very educational. Learned something from it. I know I did. I mean, I learned a lot of stuff just by running all this good equipment. Learning is key. I'll see you guys next time. My name's Mancub. Thanks for watching. Make sure you guys subscribe.